Red Feather from Grephax. In this Krita video, we will be showing you how to take an image and manipulate the image utilizing the Krita Transform a Layer or Selection tool with its mesh function. Then we will show you how to animate the image so as it slides onto the Krita canvas utilizing the Krita timeline. Then we will show you how to render the Krita animation into a MP4 or other format. Open Krita, downsize Krita, go to the image you would like to utilize, placing it into the import square of Krita. Once this is done, this will automatically place it on a new canvas for you. You may notice the image we are using is a text image, but this is just for this Krita example, and any image can be used. Once this is done in Krita, go to the toolbox, clicking on the Transform a Layer or Selection tool. Then go to the Tools and Options. In the Tools and Options, scroll over to the Krita Mesh function and click. Now notice on our Krita canvas and within each corner of the canvas, there are 3 nods, if you will. And by hovering over a corner, you will notice a circular icon for turning the whole image. For this Krita example, we will just start by grabbing the corners and downsizing the image. Once the Krita image is downsized to where you would like it, go to one of the outer corner nods, grabbing and dragging it to achieve an angle you would like. Then go to the next corner of the image, grabbing one of the outer Krita mesh nods, adjusting it. Keep adjusting either the main corners or the Krita mesh functions of the outer nods until you reach the position you would like for your image. Once this is done in Krita, go to the toolbox, clicking on the paintbrush tool in order to remove the Transform a Layer and Selection Mesh toolbox, so to get a better look. If needed, you can return to the Mesh tool for further manipulation. Once this is done in Krita, we need to add another layer so as to add some background color. Go to Layers, then go to Add Layer, the Add Layer symbol, and click. Once your new Krita layer appears, grab it, moving it below the layer that holds the image. Before we move on, it is best to make sure our Krita image is in a centered or correct position. So go to the toolbox, clicking on the rectangular selection tool, drawing a box around the image, then to the toolbox, clicking on the Move tool, then to the canvas, moving the image to a good position. And then also going into the Krita Transform a Layer and Selection tools mesh in the Tools and Options for final adjustment if needed after resizing. Once this is done in Krita and you are happy, go to the Krita title bar, clicking on Select, and scroll down to Deselect and click. Then go to Layers, highlighting the new Krita layer, then to the toolbox, clicking the paint bucket tool, then to the color picker, choosing the color you would like for your background. Then to the canvas for placement. Now let's create some animation. Go to the Krita timeline, create 1 or 2 duplicate frames. Move these frames over so as to have frame 0 with no frame. Highlight the Krita frame 0, go to the Add Keyframe, click the drop-down menu, scroll down to Add Blank Keyframe, and click. This is a very important Krita feature for smoothness. Now the difference can be seen between the two I created, as the first did not have the blank keyframe. Once this is done in Krita, highlight the last duplicate keyframe on the timeline, ours being 3, and duplicate keyframes to where you would like in order to create your Krita animation. We found that keyframe 9 was good for us. Once this is done, in Krita, on the timeline, highlight keyframe 1. Then go to the toolbox, clicking on the rectangular selection tool. Then go to the canvas, drawing a box around the text, and on the timeline, making sure the onion skin is turned on. Then, to the Krita toolbox, clicking on the Move tool, moving the image to a position to slide in from. This does not have to be from the side. It could be top, bottom, right, or left. Once this is done in Krita, highlight the next keyframe on the timeline, drawing the rectangular box around the image, moving it to a position just a step further on the canvas so as the image appears to be sliding in. Keep doing this until all the Krita keyframes have the image in a good placement. Now you may have noticed, because I was moving fast, I did not cover the whole image when moving the images, and some residual color was left behind. This can be taken care of after moving with a quick touch-up afterwards, if needed. So once this is done in Krita, go to the title bar, clicking Select, scroll down to Deselect, and click. Then go to each Krita keyframe, doing any necessary cleanup. Then turn off the Krita onion skin and give it a playback. If everything looks good, highlight the last keyframe and then duplicate your frames as far as you would like, ours being 21. Then set your Krita end keyframe to the frame you have chosen to stop at, ours being 21. Once you are happy, it is then time to export our Krita project. Go to File, scroll down to Render Animation, Frames, and click. Once the Krita Render Animation window appears, there are a few things to consider configuring here. First, give the project a name. Then, the folder to the right, next to the name, check to make sure your Krita project will save to the proper directory. But before we save, there are a few more things to consider. So cancel this once the directory is satisfactory. Then in the Krita Render Animation window, make sure the end frame is set correct, as well as the width and height and FPS settings. Then decide if you would just like an MP4, animation frames, or both, and select the proper Krita selections. Once this is done in Krita, click OK. The render will take just a few seconds. I hope you have enjoyed this Krita tutorial on how to create a slide-in image animation and found it helpful in some fashion. And if so, then why not give this video a like? And while you're at it, why not become a subscriber and ring that bell in order to receive notifications your way of newly released videos. I mean, after all, ladies and gentlemen, it is free. The beginning and the end of this video has been provided by none other than Alex Abayu1. Thank you in advance. I am out.